Hello guys, and welcome back. So in the last video we added functionality to pick up to select an image here and from either from gallery or camera. So in this video we are going to add the functionality for name, email and password. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So if we come back to the text form field for the name here, let's just put a comma here, then let's give it some more functions here. Okay, so let's take the text input action. Let's say text input action dot next. Okay, this will allow us to bring the next button. Let's say if we are entering here, you've seen here we have a done button. So if we put this as next, it will have a next button. Okay, so you can see that even now we have an overflow error here. So to fix this, we need to come up here and wrap this into a single child scroll view. Okay, so let's go ahead and wrap this with a widget. Let's call it a single child scroll view, and then let's hot restart. So it has restarted. Let's check. Now if we click here, we see that that error is gone. Then now we have this next key on the keyboard, okay, because of this text input action. So let's continue. Again, let's also capitalize the first letter. Text capitalize. We're going to say text capitalization dot words. And then the next thing is let's have a max characters the user can put. We don't want someone to have a really long name here, something like this. You can just go on and go on. So let's put the limit to that. So let's say max length, maybe let's give them 25 characters. Then also max line, we only want to show max lines. We only want to show one line here. Even in these we just want to show one lines. Okay, let's hot restart. So you can see now, let's just come back. Okay, seems to be an error. We shouldn't have an overflow. Let's hot restart again. Oh, this overflow is here on this page. Okay, so let's also, before we continue, let's come back here to the login screen and also wrap it to the single child scroll view. Single child scroll view, and then even in the login screen now we don't have that error anymore. Okay, let's come back here and then see. So now we have a max line of 25, but we don't want this to show up down here. So what we can do is to come down here in the copy width, and then let's go for the counter text to be empty. Should be counter text like this one. This should be empty. Let's hot restart and then check. So it's still here because we are doing it on the wrong screen. Let's cut this out. We need to go back to the sign up screen and then put it here. Let's hot restart, then it's gone. Okay, so let's continue on adding more checks in this one. So let's also add some validation. So after this decoration, we can say validator, which returns a value. And then here we're just going to check if the value, which is a string, dot is empty. So if the value is empty, meaning the user hasn't written anything on the name here, we're just going to return please enter a name. Okay, let's it needs to be in a string. Let's close that. You can say please enter your name. Okay, and then again it's else if the value dot length, so if it is less than 3, we want a name to be at least 3 letters or more. Okay, so here we will return let's say name must be at least 3 characters. Okay, and then if everything else is fine, we're just gonna return now. Okay, so that's our validator. And then also let's get the onChanged method. onChanged, which also returns a value. So onChanged, we're just gonna set our name now to the value. So here we're just gonna say name will be equal to value dot trim. Let's trim it like that. Okay, so looks like we haven't put the name up here, or we put the name of the controllers. Okay, so let's change this. Let's put them as a let string name, then also let string email, let string password. Okay, so let's comment these controllers for now. You can comment those, and then also inside here we can just comment them. Okay, so let's come down here. So the name, then we are setting it to the value. Okay, so that's our text form field for the name. Then let's move on to the email. Now on the email, again, let's just copy this text input action. You can put the text input action here, and then here what else do we need on the email? Let's also have the max line of 1, max lines of 1. Let me go back. Say max lines, not length. It should be max lines of 1. And then also let's add some validation on the email. Let's put a comma inside here. Then here let's also add some validation. So validate, it returns a value. Then here let's check if value dot is empty. We're just gonna return please enter your email. Next, let's say else if. So here we need to check if the email is valid. So inside our helper class here, I've just went ahead and created this regex extension to check the validity of the email. Okay, so this is our regex just to validate the email. You can go ahead and use this, or you can just create another one. This one that I've created is quite simple. So what's happening here is it's a boolean. We are just sending in an email, and then we are comparing this email to what we have here in the regex. So here in the first part here, this is just to ensure that it starts a session start with a string, and then the second part here, let me not disturb it. So the second part here matches more matches one or more words characters plus underscore or hyphens we can put here, and then this part, the third part up to here, this one allows for a dot followed by more words characters or hyphen, and this entire group can repeat 0 or more times. Okay, this is what this code does. And then this art, you know, it is the art that is contained in the symbol that is required on the email, in the middle of the email. And then this part here after the art, so this one is similar to this first one here before this one is, but it ensures there is at least one dot after that symbol. Okay, and then this part here, this matches between 2 and 7 alphabetical characters spread into the top level domains like .com, .org, all those domains. That's what this last part does, and then this is just the end of the string. Okay, so we are getting this email that we are sending, and then we are comparing it to check if it matches the regular expression. If it matches, it returns true. If it doesn't match, it returns false. So this is just our simple method to validate the email. So we can close that and then come back here. Then here we need to check now that method. So let's say value dot where is that? What's the method? What did we name it? Validate email. Value dot validate email. Let's see, actually we need to say validate email, and then we put the value. Okay, so if this is true, so let's first check if it is not true. Let's put the exclamation mark in front here. So if this is not true, let's just return please enter a valid email. Okay, and then else if validate email, and then value. If that is true, we're just going to return now. Okay, meaning the email is true. And then down here also let's return now if everything is fine. Great. And then now after the validation, let's also do our own changed method, which takes a value. Then let's just set our email on top there to equals the value dot trim. Okay, all right, now let's move on to the password. So here, first of all, let's copy the text action. Let's paste that here, and then this one now can be done because this is the last one. Okay, and then next, what can you do next? Okay, let's improve this a bit. Let's change like this obscure text. Let's give a user an option to see his password. Okay, so instead of having the hard-coded true here, we can go up here and then let's initialize that boo obscure text. This will be equal to true by default. Okay, obscure text like that. Let's correct this word. Yeah, obscure text like that will be equal to true. And then we come down here to the password. Where is the password? This one. Now we can just say obscure text. Okay, and then inside the decoration here, let's put a comma, and then let's have a suffix icon. Okay, suffix icon. So let's have an icon button, and then on pressed, it's a function. So on pressed here, we just gonna set state. Set state. This one, obscure text is going to be equal to not obscure text. Okay, so it's got, if it is true, it's going to be false. If it's false, it's going to be true. Okay, and then now on the icon here, let's say icon, which comes from icons. Here, before we put an icon, we have to check. First, let's put commas here. So if it's obscured, let's copy that. If it's obscured like that, we're going to put the icon of visibility. Okay, the visibility off. Okay, icons dot visibility off. Else, if it is not obscured, we're going to say icons dot visibility like that. Let's again put a comma. So let's hot restart and see what we'll have. Okay, and then let's go ahead to that screen. And then so you see we have this icon, it's obscured. So let's type by default, and then let's click here. Now the user can see. Okay, we can remove or we can't remove. Okay, great. Now we have improved our password a bit. The next after this decoration down here, or after this obscure text, let's now add the validate as well. It returns a value. So here we will do the same. If value check dot is empty, we're just gonna return it's a string. Please enter a password like that. Then else, if value dot here we want to be maybe 8 characters. Okay, if value dot text dot length dot if value dot length is less than let's say 8, we want the password to be 8 characters. We'll say return password must be at least 8 characters. Then we close it out. So this is just like when we are checking for these 3 letters of the name. Okay, else we're just going to return now. Okay, just like what we are doing up here. Okay, so down here we're just going to return now. Okay, so you can have more checks on the password, maybe on the strength of a password and stuff, but we are not going to do that now. Next, we just want to add the unchanged, it also returns a value. We're just gonna pass our password on top, which will be equal to value. Let's just say value. Okay, so that's it for the name, password, and email. Okay, so if you want to see these changes, let's just try one. What is the name? See, on changed here, we can print the name if we want. Then let's say name. Okay, so let's hot restart. Let's open the logs, go to this screen, and then so here on change we should be able to see what we are typing, which is this. Let's say John. There we have John. Every time we change, we print. Okay, so we don't need this print statement. Let's continue. Now we need to, after we save this, we need to create a method now to save this user to Firestore. Okay,